Students, for this demonstration on multiple color, multiple plate relief printing, I'm going to do this in two parts. The first part, I'm just going to talk about three processes, show you examples. Then I'm going to talk about some alternate ways to get multiple colors on one plate. And then I'm going to end the video. In the second part, I'm going to actually print and give you an examples, and I'm going to use both sides of the press. I'm going to show you how to transfer for a key block as well as your printing. But for this part one, I'm just going to talk about it and show you examples. Then when you look at part two, you may want to come back and review this. So I want to start off by saying that, planning is everything, as you know, in your one color print. So here's a student's drawing. This was actually from 2D Design. We pulled out of her sketchbook, and she had this black and white design, this right here. So we took that, and she's looking at where her colors are going to be, okay? So she actually has two plates, a black plate and a color plate. And she can print green and this fuchsia color on one plate because when she inks up, her roller doesn't hit the green area, okay? So I'll talk about that at the end of this short video. So on the black, she did those white. She tried to use the white, looks like some kind of charcoal pencil, but it's hard to show up. But you can see also how different it turns out. So really nice creative use of line variation. So that's just the planning part. You have to know, first of all, which process you're going to use. And probably, well, it seems simple. This is a jigsaw puzzle technique, okay? Where you actually cut your plate out, and then you ink each piece, and then you put it back together, and it goes through the press. And so you have this, okay? So there's not a lot of registration in this when, as with the multiple plate, but although this is it's not too problematic to print. Obviously she inked that up, looks like a little rainbow. This is Miss Rhoda. And then she has the two black plates on the end. Now, what is distinct about this is you're going to have a white line where the two plates meet, okay? That's very distinct. So you probably need to work that into your design, okay? So that's jigsaw. Each part is inked differently. Here's another example. I just don't have the plates. So this student had actually she had three plates. She had an orange plate. Her dog was one plate. And then this background, which could have been a different color, was one plate. And you can see where that's cut. Again, you have to work so on her, if this is one plate, she made these lines wider to work with where the plates come together, where you have that white line, okay? So that's another example of jigsaw technique. Most students use the multiple plate technique because the last one, the reduction plate, is the least forgiving. So this is the result of the multiple plate. And for this student, he had a is what we call our key plate. So he had a black plate, he has a red plate, and he has a yellow plate. Okay, now I'm going to print this in the next video so you can see how this is done. It's one pass through the press. You just keep going back and forth. And I'm also going to show you how to transfer this as if these were two, because this is his key plate. If these were two uncut plates, we transfer the image and then he knows where to cut for his red and yellow. So this is multiple plate. Each plate is a different color, okay? And as you can see by just these two examples, you can experiment with different colors. So this was his addition. And what I did was I went during different classes, I went ahead and just demoed different colors, which I'll probably do for you as well. So that, I would say, is much more forgiving than the reduction block, which I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to show you how to register these colors from the key plate. Okay, so that's multiple plate. Multiple plate is, generally speaking, every plate is a different color. Yeah, okay. So that's multiple plate. Plates have to be the exact same size. You have to have this somewhat planned. Your registration has to be right on. And if you look closely at his, you know, he has a lot of noise. So this is not like an illustration where the colors tracked really tight. He's got a lot of noise that he works into this expressionistic piece. This is, I have these on the board. This is a multiple plate, two plates, a blue plate and a black plate, registered to the black first. And if you want white of the paper, white has to be cut out on both blocks or it will cover it, okay? So you have to remember that. But that's not a problem because you can cut away, you just can't add if you forget to cut a part out, okay? So that's a two plate. And the reduction print is the most difficult. And I don't have Chantel's plates because and notice there's no white. There's no white. So with this process, what you're doing is she starts with a solid plate and with a registration system that has to be very accurate. She will print, and generally you print the lightest first, darker on top, generally. The series in your multiple plates, which color you print on top of the other can affect it. But in this, I'm pretty sure she rolled up light blue on a solid plate. Now, she printed her whole edition off that plate. So this is an edition of 5, so and you want maybe 20% if there's a problem, minimum. So maybe she pulled 8 prints and all you have is solid blue. Then she goes back into the plate because she has a registration system where she can put her drawing back on her plate, and she will clear what is ever light blue on the plate because she's going to print middle blue, mid-range blue next. So this is going on her plate now, and under the dark blue is this mid-range blue. So everything except this light blue is now covered because it's cut off your plate. So she's reducting the same plate. Well, this will be on top of whatever this dark. Then she prints all her addition. Her registration is perfect, I might say. Never seen anything that close. And then she clears everything that is middle blue, mid-range blue, clears it on her plate. The only thing left on this plate is this dark blue. That's it. And then she gets her prints and she prints that on top. So we call, although this is reductive from her plate, all these processes, well, the multiple plate in this, it is additive. You're adding one color on top of another color. Okay? So that is the reductive. Now, there are several ways to get multiple colors on one plate. And here's an example. So, theoretically, this may have been 3 plates. A green plate, the black plate, and this purple plate. But if you can do this, if this color plate has this shape, this circle, these shapes, and this square rectangle, they're printed solid. But if on that plate, everything else is cut out, if the roller doesn't hit the green area, you can print 2 or more colors or on one plate. So that is a possibility. Get the baby roller, so she rolls, well, she's got to roll that green and it doesn't hit this. Actually, thinking she probably had a green plate and a purple. Yeah. But you can see how you could have done that if this was over here. So I wanted to show you that. That's one way of multiple colors on the same plate. Now, another way is this tan color. That is the result of the pink and the green mixing. So he had a black plate, a pink plate, a green plate. And what he did is on this area right here, this is the pink and the green, and it's just solid. So he didn't bring it in over here. So those are those 2 colors mixing because you're printing wet and wet. And so your colors are going to mix. And it looks like he put the tan on top because this black has tan on top of it. It's not solid black. You can see like a little film. So he's really using the print sequence to his advantage. So any colors that are on top of each other, they will create 2 colors create a 3rd color. Okay? So that's another way. Now, on his black, his pink, and his green plate, the white was cut out on all of those plates. Okay? So, this will take some planning. You know a lot how to carve. The registration, it really is not difficult. It's the 2 key things are your design, knowing where your colors are going to go, depending on the technique you're going to use, as well as that you have your registration that is nice and tight, okay? So, the next video, I'm going to actually transfer a key plate, and then I'm also going to print that one multicolor image, so you'll see how that's done.